Hello everyone. One of the important features of object-oriented programming concepts is polymorphism. So in polymorphism, we have different forms. We have function overloading, we have overriding, and also we have operator overloading. These are different features or different types of polymorphism. Function overloading is present in both C++ as well as Java, whereas operator overloading is not allowed in Java, present only in C++. So this concepts that we are going to learn here about function overloading is going to be useful for you even for if you are learning Java. Now let us see the meaning of function overloading. So it is the process of defining multiple functions with same name but different set of parameters. So when we say different set of parameters, your number of parameters and the type of parameters, everything, it has to be different. Say for example, here number of parameters and type of parameters must be different. It cannot be same. So the name of the function is going to be same. So let us see some examples. I had given this example in the introduction class also. Suppose I have to find area of different geometrical shapes and I will write three different functions for finding area. That because I have three different geometric shapes for which area needs to be found. So let us take the three geometrical shapes as circle and let me consider a rectangle and a triangle. So if I pass only one variable, so for finding area of a circle, I just need one value, which is radius. To find length of a rectangle, I just require length into breadth or base into height, whatever. To find triangle, let me assume I need three sides A, B and C. And here since A and B are there, let me take something else here. I'll take P and Q. Okay. So P and Q are length and breadth of a rectangle, triangle ABC, and circle is R. So basically I need to find area of these three geometrical shapes. And here I don't want to define three different functions called area 1, area 2, area 3, or area of circle, area of rectangle. Like that I don't want to define multiple functions, and remembering so many function names becomes difficult. Here polymorphism is many forms. So one interface or just one function or one instruction behaves in different forms depending on what are the input parameters passed to that. So I will write just one function called area. I am going to use only one function name. So here I will use just one function name called area, and I am going to write three different functions with the same name but different set of parameters. So one function definition is going to be with one integer value which will return pi r square, which is 3.14 into r. This is one definition. Since it is a float value, let us take the return type as float. So this is one area function definition. I will write one more area definition in which I have int p comma int q. It takes two values as parameters. This is to find area of a rectangle, and area of a rectangle is just product of these two. So we will return only p and q. And since the product is also integer, let's take int or float here, doesn't matter. Now I will write a function to find area of a triangle using three values. These three are sides of a triangle. We have a formula using a semi-perimeter. So I'm going to use that formula. So I will write return type as float. Name of the function is area, and I am going to give three different parameters for this. I will take all the three as int ABC. Here I will write float s, and s is equal to, I need to first find perimeter, semi-perimeter, which is a plus b plus c by 2. Semi-perimeter is half of perimeter, and now area is I will write one more variable here called ans, answer, something like that. You can take any name. Answer is equal to, this is the area of the triangle, s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c whole root. This is area of a triangle given three sides of a triangle. So I will write square root of s star s minus a star s minus b star s minus c. Okay, and let us return this answer. Now if you observe, among these three functions, name is same, right? Name is same in all the three functions, and the number of parameters are different. Here I have one int value, here I have two int values, and here I have three int values. So the number of parameters are different here, and return type is same for two of the functions and different for the second function. Here return type doesn't matter. For function overloading, whether you have defined the functions that is having same name with same parameter or same return type or different return type doesn't matter. That is, what is the meaning of that is, suppose there is one sum function, it has one integer parameter or two integer parameters and which returns an int value. Suppose you have another sum function with same integer values only but with float return type. This will give an error. This is not an example of function overloading because name of the function is same and parameters must be different. Parameters type and number cannot be same. If the number is same, then type must be different. If the type is same, then number of parameters must be different. It can be a mix of both, but you cannot have same type and same number of parameters. Here also we have two int values and here also we have two int values. What is the definition of function overloading? Name should be same but parameter list should be different. Function overloading definition doesn't talk about the return type. Therefore, whether you have same return type or different return types does not differentiate between which function needs to be called. Compiler decides which function to call only based on number and type of the parameters that is given in the definition and in the function call. It should be matching. So here you see we have three area functions. It has a different set of parameters given, and now let us write a program to demonstrate the same. And one thing I want you to observe here is these functions are not belonging to any class. The example that I have given just now, in this I have written function overloading example for normal functions. These are not member functions. Member functions are those belonging to a class. These are normal functions. These are independent functions which does not belong to a class. Now I will write a program to demonstrate function overloading. I will write hash include iostream using namespace std. Here I will write int area int. So this takes one integer parameter. Let me consider float. Here I will take float area int comma int, again float area int comma int comma int. So here see I have declared three different functions. All of them have same name and different set of parameters. As I told you, it doesn't matter whether you have same return type or different return type, it is all same. Now let us write the main function. I am declaring variables for storing all these values. R for radius, P and Q for dimensions of a rectangle, A, B and C for the sides of a triangle. Now I'll have one float variable to store the answer. Now I am going to ask the user to enter radius. Whatever user enters is stored in R. Next, let us ask the user to enter length and breadth of rectangle and let us store in P and Q. Next is enter sides of a triangle. ABC. Okay, now we have all the input values required. Now I am going to use the same variable and the same function name, and I will pass different parameters and I'll get different answers. So I'll write Cout area of circle equals to answer endl. Next, in the same variable I am going to call the same function but two different parameters I'll pass, and I'll just copy this statement. Instead of circle, let us use rectangle. Next, I will write area ABC. Let us copy this area of a triangle. That's it. Now let us write the definitions for all those functions. Float. First I'll write for area of a circle, int r. This is the radius and it is supposed to return pi r square. Return 3.14 star r star r. Next I'll write int area, int p comma int q, and now we return p star q. Next is float area, int a comma int b comma int c, and here let me have float s. S is equal to a plus b plus c by 2.0, and then I'll have one more variable called answer here. Ans equals to square root of s star s minus a star s minus b star s minus c. So this gives square root of the expression and I will return the answer. Done. And here I think we need a math.h header file since we are using square root function. That's it. And let me make this also float. Doesn't matter if it is same or different, but since I've used a float variable here, I'm making that also as float, and I'll change it here as well. Now let us save this using function overload .cpp. Next we will compile this. Now let's execute. Radius we have to give, I'll give 5, length and breadth I'll give 3 and 4, and sides of a triangle let me give 3, 4 and 5. So area of circle is 78.5, area of rectangle is 12 and area of triangle is 6. So what is the observation I want you to make here is that we have same name for the functions. You can try it in a C program. Save the same function using .c extension and then try to execute. This is not allowed in C program. You cannot have multiple definitions. In fact, it gives an error saying that module area has multiple definitions. So that is the error you are going to get. But here in object oriented programming, both C++ as well as Java, this is allowed. So based on the type of parameters that you have passed, different instructions gets executed, different functions will be called, and which function to call is decided by the compiler. What is the advantage of this for a programmer is you don't have to remember multiple names. All he has to remember is only name of the function. and based on number of parameters passed, the compiler will decide which one to execute. Otherwise, if you have to remember multiple function names, imagine now you have 3 geometrical shapes here. If you have 10 different area functions, remembering all the names becomes difficult. This is going to be very helpful when you have multiple options or multiple categories, but the task is same. Here the task is finding area or finding volume. So the task is same, name of the task, but parameters are different. Based on input values, the output should be different or the calculation should be different. In such situations, we can write overloaded functions. And now this is with reference to independent functions. Now let us write overloaded member functions. So here I will write hash include IO string, then using namespace std. Here I'll write a class called shape, which has 3 variables as int and one answer variable which is going to be area, and I will write public section. Here I'll write input function. This input function I am going to make it overloaded. Okay, I'll put one variable x. If variable is x, it means the shape is having only one input parameter, means it is a circle. Okay, so I am going to store this x in A, and B I am going to make it 0 and C also 0, and answer is going to be 3.14 star r star r. From the input function, I am going to assign values for all the 4 variables. If I am passing one value, it means it is supposed to be circle which has only one input parameter. Therefore, A I am storing that value and the other 2 are made 0, and answer variable is calculated based on the given value. Here it is not r, it is supposed to be A star A. Okay. Here for this function I have defined the instructions here itself, and you know this is not the usual or the standard format to be done. We should always declare the functions inside and define the functions outside. Just to include both the things, I have defined only one function inside. Other functions I am going to define it outside. So I have to just declare it here. I will give one more input function with 2 parameters. I can just give int comma int. One more input function with 3 parameters and one display function. So these are function declarations I have done. Now those functions that are just declared inside the class must be defined outside the class. This one with 1 parameter we have already defined, we don't have to write it again. These 2 input functions and the display functions must be defined outside the class along with the scope resolution operator. Now I will write input int x comma int y. Here since 2 values I am passing, I will store x in A and y in B, and C is going to be 0, and answer will be A star B, because it is just the product of those 2 values. Now void shape input 3 parameters, int x comma int y comma int z, and A is equal to x, B is equal to y, and C equals z, and answer is equal to. Here let us declare one more variable called s, and that's going to be a float. S is equal to A plus B plus C by 2, and answer is equal to square root of s into s minus a. You can copy what you have written already, s minus b, s minus c. Okay, so we have calculated all the we have calculated values of all the variables. Next is the display function. When I just call display function, it is supposed to only print the area. Area is equal to area. Okay, right. So we have defined all the functions belonging to the class. Now the class definition is done. Now we will write the main function. Int main. I am going to define three objects, S1, S2 and S3 belonging to class shape. Now S1 dot input 5 and S2 dot input 3, 4, S3 dot input 3, 4, 5. So three different objects, each object I am passing a different value for the input function. Based on what value is passed, I have three versions of input function and different one gets invoked. Values are assigned to the variables, integer variables, and based on number of values, answer is also calculated. That is, area is also calculated. And here name is area and here I have used answer. This let us change. Here also it is area and here also it's area, right, and here it is area, correct. Now we will display the instruction, display the values. Now see out circle and I will call S1 dot display function. Next is see out rectangle, S2 dot display function. Next see out triangle, S3 dot display function. So here if you observe, earlier it was independent functions, now it is just functions belonging to a class, simple. The way you define the function, only thing that varies is this defining scope. Compared to the previous program, we have to just define the scope. That is the only difference in function definition. And when you are calling the function, you have to call it with an object name because these are functions belonging to a class. To invoke them, you have to use the object name and the dot operator. That's all. That is the difference between your previous program and this program. I'll write function overload 2.cpp. Okay. Now let us compile this. And in member function, square root was not declared, so we need math.h header file hash include math.h. So I'll save it and then compile. No errors, let us execute it. Circle area is 78.5, rectangle area is 12 and triangle area is 6. We've got it in single line, so we'll just write /n here. That will make sure it comes in the next line. So we have got the outputs in different lines. Hope you understood this. This is function overloading. This is one of the important features of object-oriented programming language. Under polymorphism, we have different categories. Function overloading is the first category. Next, we have operator overloading and we have function overriding, and then constructors can be overloaded. Now let us see what is constructors and destructors in our next class, and we will see how to overload constructor functions. Constructors are some special type of functions belonging to a class. We will see what they are, how to declare them, what are its features, and how to overload constructor functions. So practice with these questions. These programs will be shared in the Telegram channel. Make sure you join the channel. I'll mention the link to Telegram channel in the description. Join the channel for all these programs so that you can practice them. Provide your valuable suggestions and feedback in the comment section, and if you have any specific topic you can mention that in the comment section. We will try to cover it as soon as possible. See you in the next class. Bye bye.